Hello and welcome to another episode of The Naked Turner. Today I wanted to do a little bit of segmenting, so I decided to make a new sled for my table saw that I thought I would show you, and show you the process of cutting a few of these segments for a sort of platter-like bowl that I want to do. Okay, so here's the sled, and it's on my tee. What I did was screw together a box jig here, attach that to my miter sled, and then this will be able to pass right through my blade. And I have a hold down clamp here that will hold down the block that I'm cutting off. So here we go. Safety gear. I'm going to widen out a little. And there we go. As simple as that. So then I can cut a series of these segments, which are 11 1/4 degree segments, that will make up a 16-sided ring for this segmented bowl. So I'll be cutting a bunch of those. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now I have to cut one more of those to make a full 16 of these. And I'm going to set those over here. And cut 2 more of those to get a full 16. Now I'm going to be cutting 16 more of these that are out of this. So I'm just making myself an extra set right now. I only need 8 of each of these, but I'm going to make an additional set, just so I have another set in case I want to do a similar bowl. And I'll probably just save those. I won't even glue those up for now anyway. Okay, this piece has got quite a warp to it, so I want to make sure I keep the edge flat up against the back of the fence. up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have some extra. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Good. So I have a few extra, which is nice, with, especially with some of these pieces of maple, because sometimes it's so hard, you can see you get some burns. I usually take a little time to sand some of that stuff off. So there you go. There's 32 segments real quickly. 32 plus segments real quickly. Alright, so here's the first set of rings cut and just kind of placed on top of the bottom piece that I'm going to be using for this plate platter bowl, kind of shallow bowl. So I'm getting ready to glue up these segments, and what I like to do is put down a little bit of plastic here, just some cling wrap of any kind, any brand. Then I put some glue on my edge, take my 2 blocks, put them together, make sure they're fully coated, a little bit more. Stick them down like so, and then work my way around. And the key is putting a healthy amount of glue, and then making sure you squeeze most of it out of there, squish it a little bit. And there'll be a little bit of this going on, and then I'll check back in with you to show you the next part of the process. Alright, so now I take some more cling wrap and I start like this. Place the cling wrap around here loosely at first, and then you can start stretching the cling wrap. And I'm kind of using it like a rope where I have it bunched up. Now I'm really putting it under some strain. Broke there. Okay, so now you get the idea. And I come back around, make sure these are all pushed down and that my inside edges are aligned, because all of my cuts are based on the inside edge miter that I have here. So as long as I get all my interior edges fairly well lined up, I know that I'm staying in the right orientation. And then I just push them all down nice and flat to this, and that looks pretty good. I'm going to get another piece of cling wrap and wrap it a couple more times just to make sure it's really, really tight. But that's all there is to it. Let that dry up, and then that'll get stacked onto another segment. Alright, so I didn't show this before, but I thought I should show it. Right here, this is my spacer block to as a stop to show me that, you know, I'm cutting all of my segments the same exact size or as close to exact as possible. So I leave a space underneath here, and that is so as I'm pushing my next piece into the stop, if there's any sawdust in the way, it doesn't impede my piece from hitting my stop properly. It just pushes that sawdust underneath here, and that makes just make sure that you're not having to clear that sawdust out all the time. If you push this block all the way down to the table, invariably you're going to be sliding this sawdust that's here underneath your block and pinching in between here, and then you may get discrepancies on the sizes of your block. So that's a good trick to use. And I have just moved my spacer block to start cutting the next ring, which will be slightly larger. Here's the first ring that's dry now. So that'll go on something like that. Something like that, or maybe I'll stagger them and split them like that. I'm not exactly sure, but anyway, I'll do something like that. I'm going to take this and do a little bit of surface sanding on it. Okay, so now I've bandsawed out a blank of 3/4 inch sapele and or sapel, and I've now mounted it up to my faceplate with double stick Turner's tape, and I've pressurized it with my tailstock. I'm going to true it up a little bit because I want to make a nice round platter for my segment to glue on top of. So I'm going to do that, and I'll flip it around and glue my segment onto the other face. Alright? Alright. Locked off. Safety gear. Bring up the speed to right around 1,000 RPM. Alright, so you just saw me shape this with the tenon or the mortise on it, and I'm leaving my faceplate attached here so that I could still do some turning on the bottom of this if I need to, and which I will. But at this point I'm going to be taking and gluing this up, so I wanted to show you I use these 4 glue blocks to position it appropriately. And I'm going to take and apply some glue, make sure it's clean. And apply some glue. I'm seeing a little spot here that I don't like, actually. I need to take this in and sand it down just a tiny little bit more. And then we'll be back. Okay, so now I'm back. I just had to sand that down a little more because I saw something I didn't like. Now I'm going to take and put the coated glue down here. And then smush it around. Make sure I cover all of these edges. Nicely coated. A little bit more right in here. Okay. There we go. And then I know the orientation that I want on this, which is like this. Okay. Make sure that looks good. Wiggle it a little bit. These blocks weren't sticking that well, but it looks like they're going to be just fine. Okay, and then what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to take and put some weight on top of here. Make sure it's centered. Okay, that is centered. And there we go. I think I'm going to put a little bit more weight on top of that as well. So there you have it. That'll have to dry up for probably until later on tomorrow. But there it is. Glued up. It's not glued to this lower ring. It's just this piece here glued to this piece. I still have to surface this, which I'm going to do soon. But I wanted to get that part glued up. So there you have it. Alright, so here's this segment. Here's the next segment that's going to go on here. I have them both sanded down but I'm going to actually run it for a couple seconds to surface this surface off. So then that'll be ready to go. Alright, I'm using my half inch wide by 1/4 inch scraper to surface this. And I'm just going to surface it off, nothing special. Then I'll glue this layer on and we'll get back. I'll show you the rest of it later on. So I was going to trim away the facets of the segmented platter section here. Trim these off round. But now I'm feeling like I probably should leave them because it'll be easier to glue my glue blocks that'll hold this in a specific orientation by leaving the flat edges rather than having it round. So I'm going to do that. Alright, so here's what I meant about leaving the facets on. I made myself a couple registration, an A and a B, just showing me, and then I registered here as well, an A and a B, and then that shows me that I want to be on exactly like that. And then what I've done is glued on these glue blocks just with hot glue. Glued some very small glue blocks that have a little bit of an angle running up this way so that it makes it easier for me to line it up and drop it in and push it down nice and tight. And then what I'll do is pressurize that and glue it up. All of my clamps are at work right now, so I don't really have any clamps here at home. So I'm going to be using weights again to clamp this up. Alright, so here's this piece. It's all set up. I took a short hiatus from turning because I really didn't have enough time for any turning, but I'm back again. I did a few small projects, but I didn't have a chance to get back to this segmented turning. So now I figured out a way to glue this up, which what I did was just took and taped each seam front and back, glued segments, taped each seam front and back, and now what I'm going to do is surface this off with my sander, and then I'll be gluing it to this section here and be spinning it on the lathe like that. But I happened to notice that I couldn't really do that because I'm wanting to leave these long like this potentially. I'm going to try to do that, and if I'm not able to, then I will just cut them off. But I'm going to try to keep them long like this so it'll look kind of like a gear edge. Anyway, so it's going to go on in that kind of orientation, but first I need to flatten it out a little bit. It has a little bit of a bow to it, and the bow I can get out a little, but it needs to be flattened out because it's got different thicknesses, very slight variances, and some little splinters and stuff like that. So I'll get rid of all that stuff and then be gluing it on in this orientation, trying to leave those outside edges. And what I noticed is that when I do that, these edges are sticking out past, but I do want that to be gone and round. So I'm not exactly sure if this whole idea of keeping these out here like that is going to work and leaving this flat edge. I don't know. I have a feeling I'm going to end up turning it into a round vessel, but we'll see. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this into round, just removing enough to get rid of those facets of the corners. Alright? That's what we'll do right now. So here I have it. I'm just going to be using my parting tool round. Okay, that did a pretty good job. Nice. Alright, that's pretty much round. I'm going to come back with one final pass. Okay. Good. Okay. Now, in a way, while I'm here, I may as well do a little bit of hollowing inside of this, because that'll show me where my true centers are. So I'll be switching to my bowl gouge. Just removing a little bit here. A little bit there. Alright, I'm going to be getting rid of some of these glue blocks and other stuff on the back here. Okay, getting rid of most of that. Now I'm going to just blend this in right now. Alright, so here it is. It's got 100 pounds of weight on top of it. I sanded it flat and glued it up, and now it's going to cure. And I'll get back to you when it's done curing. Okay, naked turners, this is what we've got here. I glued up my gear-edged bowl shape, and it's going to mean there's quite a bit of flat edge sanding out here when I get finished with creating this profile, but I'm going to get it down to where it's maybe only a 1/4 of an inch thick or so here, so there won't be a lot of edge sanding to do. But it did work out. And now I'm going to do some shaping on the face, getting rid of a bunch of the excess on the inside. Nice fine details, hopefully, and hopefully this will stay together. And have my assistant who helped me with some of the glue up here yesterday. So anyway, there you have it. I'm going to do a little bit of face turning and then some of the back side of the bowl turning. And okay, I'm going to be using my P&N Patience and Nichols 5/8 bowl gouge, which I have a fairly severe Irish grind on, swept back wings, and I'll be starting to do some shaping on the outside of this bowl. Everything's locked down. I've got my lung and eye protection on, and I'm ready to go. I'm going to turn this right around 700, 790 RPM. I'm going to start by just surfacing this face cloth. Gears of wood. I'm going to do a little more shaping in here. Okay, so here I am at the back side, and I have this pretty close. You always want to make sure you spin it because you have all these little edges sticking off very close to my banjo and my tool rest. So I'm going to try to move in here next to the camera, and once again, safety. And I'm going to make some cuts from the back side here. Very light path. Alright, doing a little more shaping on the inside here. Increasing the speed a little bit. Alright, coming in with my scraper. Alright, so now I have my bowl rest on. Everything's nice and tight. And safety gear. So I'm running low on battery, so I'm going to do a little bit more shaping here on this edge, come out a little bit like that, and kind of curve it away a hair, and then this thing will be pretty much ready for some sanding. I'll check back in right before I put some finish on. Okay, so now I have my straight tool rest on, nice and tight, and the reason I did that is so I can get an angle back this way to make a little bit of a curve here. Okay, just sharpened up my 5/8 bowl gouge, and I'm going to be coming in and doing some shear scraping cuts to thin down this wall and get rid of some of the chatter, hopefully. Alright, so here it is, finished, and I'm just about to put, I have it sanded down to a 320 everywhere, and I'm going to start putting some finish on this piece. And I don't have much battery, so I'm just going to show you the beginning of this to see, so you can see how pretty the grain is turning out on this piece. And hopefully my battery will last long enough for you to get the idea. And I'll take some still photos when I'm finished and post those along with the video. But you can see that this is going to be a pretty amazing bowl, plate bowl, platter, art piece. There we go. Take a look at that. Wow. Lots of fire, lots of depth, and a pretty cool design. I'll take some stills when I'm done. Now, I'm getting ready to put some finish on the back side. A little finish on my rag, turn down the speed a hair, and maybe not that much. But we're going to get a little finish on here. Some on this end grain here. Let it really soak it in here. And now I'm starting a burnish up toward the outer edge. Don't want to push too hard out here because I don't want to pop my piece off the lathe or split my bottom at this point. I've got so much time and work into this piece. Okay, increasing the speed up to around 900. Whoops. Sorry. It's still framed up pretty good? Yeah, there we go. Alright, so there it is. Finished gear bowl. And this has sapel, maple, and white oak. Two different colors of sapel. There you have it. I'm going to take a couple stills and post those.